Good morning, students. Today, in today's class, we will be discussing about two-dimensional arrays. Before we start with two-dimensional arrays, I just wanted to revise with the concepts. So, in the previous class, we have discussed about sorting technique, that is bubble sort. So, as you can see on the screen, there is a flow chart visible, right? So here we are going to first revise bubble sort. Okay, so I hope you were able to trace. Yesterday we have traced bubble sort for 6 elements of the array. So we took random 6 numbers and then sorted them in ascending order. So the same program I have represented in the form of a flow chart. So here the first part, as we know, corresponds to the header file, and then we have the main. So that is start. Then we have declared different variables. So we have the array which is of size 20. We can declare any size, right? So next we have declared n. N is the number of elements of the array, and C and D are the index variables which we have taken. Swap is a temporary variable. So the same program we have discussed yesterday. So this is the flow chart corresponding to bubble sort program, right? So here we have declared the required variables first. So after declaring, we ask the user to enter the number of elements. So print enter number of elements, and then we read the value of n, so that we know the size of n. So we have taken, say, 6 elements, n is equal to 6. Then we have a flow chart to take input for the array elements, right? So this part of the flow chart is for taking input of the array elements. So using for loop, we have taken the input. So that is start C from 0 and then until C is less than n, read array of C. So starting from array of 0 up to n. So that is array of 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on up to array of 5. So because n is 6, we read 6 numbers every time, incrementing C and check the condition C less than n. So after we read 6 numbers, condition is false. C becomes 6, 6 less than 6, condition is false. We exit from the for loop. Now we have seen yesterday that the next part is the main logic of the bubble sort program. So that we have nested loop, right? So outer loop is for C, inner loop is for D. So as we can see, so the value of C starts from 0. C equal to 0 until C is less than n minus 1, because we have n minus 1 passes. So it starts from 0 up to n minus 1, 5 minus 1, 6 minus 1 is 5. So up to 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means there are 5 passes. So in the example we considered yesterday, there are 6 numbers. So if there are 6 numbers, there are 5 passes in the bubble sort. So that is the reason we give C less than n minus 1. Now inside that for loop, we have another. So that is a nested for loop. So we have seen the inner for loop is for D. So D also starts from 0 and it is to count the number of comparisons. So we have discussed with an example and seen that in each pass there are n minus C minus 1 comparisons. So D starts from 0 and works up to n minus C minus 1. So in each pass, there are n minus C minus 1 comparisons. So every time we check for D equal to 0, we start check from the first 2 elements. Check if array of D is greater than array of D plus 1. So that is, we check A of 0, array of 0, is it greater than array of 0 plus 1, array of 1. So if the first number is greater than the second number, we swap them. So swapping is using a temporary variable. So here we have taken temporary variable name as swap. It can be any name, right? So we swap them and this continues till the end of the array. So every time in each pass, the largest number is fixed into its position. So in the first pass, largest number comes to the last position. So if we have 6 numbers, so at the end of pass 1, the largest, we saw that 63 was the largest, and at the end of pass 1, 63 came to the position of A of 5, right? The fifth index is the last position. At the end of each pass, the largest number settles in its position. So that is what we have seen. So this continues in each pass. We compare many numbers, and every time if the first number is greater than the second number, we will swap them, or else we continue. So this continues till the end of the array, right? So we have seen 5 passes yesterday, and after it completes, C condition is false and it comes out of the loop, then we print the sorted list in ascending order. So this is a message like a heading. We give sorted list in ascending order, and then we are printing the array. So using the for loop. So there are 6 elements. So starting from 0 up to 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we print each array element, right, until C less than n. So array of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and array of 5. We print all the 6 numbers. That is the sorted array, right? So this is the flow chart for bubble sort, the same program which we discussed yesterday. So I hope this bubble sort is clear, right? So you can trace with different examples, and then it will be easier to understand the concepts. So I would like to know if there are any doubts. Is this concept clear? We discussed bubble sort in previous class. So is this concept clear?
Yes.
Yes. So please take different examples and trace it similarly. The same file I have shared yesterday also through your group and edit. Please go through this and trace it similarly. So this file has the complete tracing. We had discussed this same thing yesterday, right, in the previous class. So the complete tracing is there. So this file has the tracing for 6 numbers. Similarly, you trace for 5 numbers and let me know. If you find any problem, you can send that same through the message. I'll help you out. Okay? Yeah. So this is about one-dimensional array. So now let us see the next concept. According to the lab sheet, your next concept is for two-dimensional array. So before we go to the scenario-based problem, problem 7, we will see a little about the concept of 2D array. So we need to understand what is this 2D array before we start with any program related to 2D array, right? So here we have a white screen as you see. Let us start. I hope you are able to see the white screen. Yes or no? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So here we have seen some examples, right? So previously about one-dimensional array. So I will just draw one same thing. Okay. So in this case, we have, I'm just drawing a set, right? So if we say there are elements like this, say 11 and 12, 13, 14, right? So these are some numbers, some number of elements. Okay, so consider we have like this. So this what we have seen is nothing but one dimensional array, right? So we have seen, so this is the first element 11, second one is 13, 12, sorry, third is 13 and fourth one is 14, for example. So here if we give a name for this, say we name it as array A, right? So in this case, we are going to have an index also. So we know that there will be index for each element of the array. So first index is 0, next index will be 1, next index is 2, next index is 3. So this is a one-dimensional array, right? So we have seen that A of 0 is equal to 11. So if we say just how to represent the first element, we know that A of 0 is equal to 11. Right? So here, how do we represent this further? Now, A of 1 will be 12, A of 2 is 13, A of 3 is 14. So this is a one-dimensional array, right? So one-dimensional array, what we have discussed. So in this case, if we say this, we have just one index. Let us say we consider an example of a matrix. We have discussed in the beginning while discussing a pattern, right? So this may be like extended some more. So we say we give like this, 2 more rows, for example, right? Let me draw this. So here, if we draw a matrix, what are the formats we will have? I'm just drawing some cells here. We will fill them with values. Okay. So to understand the concept of 2D arrays, we need to know the value for matrix. So let us say we give a number here, like 21, 22. Something similar we have discussed while discussing the pattern, right? We have seen like this, right? So here we have these values. Say next one we give 31, okay, 32, 33, 34. Okay, so this is a matrix. Yes, so we all agree that this is a matrix. So now when we say 1 1, it is in nothing but first row, first column. So if we just have 11 12 13 14, it is a one dimensional array. Now when we have both rows and columns, there are two dimensions. That means one of the dimension is row, another dimension is a column. So that is why this is called as a two-dimension array. Now, like we have 0, 1, 2, 3 index for one dimension array, for two-dimension array, we will have row number and column number. So let us say this is 0 and then this will be 1 and this will be 2. Now, how do we represent this? So the first number 1, 1 means it is in the first row and first column. So if we say just a one dimensional array, we have seen it is represented by A of 0, right? Now if it is in the form of a matrix, we are going to represent the row number and column number. So what is the row number here? So we say this 0 is row number 0. So 11, 12, 13, 14 are in row number 0. 21, 22, 23, 24 are in row number 1. 31, 32, 33, 34 are in row number 2. So these are nothing but row numbers. So we can represent anyway. Let us say we represented by I. Okay. So let us take, you can take any variable I, J, X, Y, A, B, anything. So now that is the row number, 0th row, first row, second row. What about these then? So these are nothing but 0th column. 0th column is 11, 21, 31. Similarly, column number 1 is 12, 22, 32. Column 2 will be 13, 23, 33. Column 3 is 14, 24, 34. I hope these are clear. So these numbers are nothing but row number, say we represent by I. Similarly, these numbers are column numbers, say we represent by J. Any variable can be taken. Now, if we want to represent a particular number, say we want to represent 11. 11 is the very first number in the matrix or a 2D array. Now, if it was single one-dimensional array, we would simply write A of 0, right? That would be just the index. Now, in two-dimensional array, we write two indexes. One index is the value of I, second will be J. Okay, so we write two indexes. So this becomes A of 0, 0. A of 0, 0 will be equal to 11. How is this represented? So we have the row number is 0. Row number is written first. Next, column number is also 0. Column number is written next. So 11 will be represented by A of 0, 0. So in this case, A is the name of the two-dimensional array. I is the row number. So there are 3 rows. I has 3 values. And J is the column numbers. There are 4 columns. So J has 4 values. So starting from 0, 1, 2, 3. Now please tell me, if we have to represent 23, how do we represent 23? Divyashri? How do we represent 23? You're all unmuted anyway. Please answer.
A of 1 comma A of 2.
So here 23 will be A of 1
1 of
column
2.
2. Very good. A of 1, 2 is nothing but 23.
23.
What about 32?
A of
2 of
A of
2.
2 is row number.
1.
1 is column number. So A of 2, 1 will be 32. 4. What about 34? A of
A of 2.
2,
3.
3. Very good. So A of 2, 3 is 34. Right? I hope you have understood now. So first number will always be the row number. Second index will always be the column number. So this is a two-dimensional array. So like the matrix. So this is a two-dimension array. I hope this is clear, the representation. So we are going to represent the two-dimension array with the name of the array, a single name for the entire 2D array. Next, we'll have an index for row number. Next index will be column number. Okay, so now let us see. We have seen the array now, 2D array, how to represent also we have seen with example. Now, if we have to take input for a one-dimensional array, we have seen that we will use a for loop, right? So for, we start with the first index, right? I equal to 0 and then up to n, or say in this case, I is less than, so how many values? So n, if we say that, let us consider the number of rows as m. Okay, so m and I plus plus. Right? So now this will be useful. Just take A of I. If it was a one-dimension array, we would just take, okay, read scanf A of I. Right? So now in this case, we would have simply written like this. Yes, scanf. So how to take input here, because they are integers, we will give %d and then comma and A of I. But here we want some more values, right? So in this case, we will give, we need along with that the j value also. So how to take this? We are going to use a nested loop, right? So in this case, for I will be for the row number. Now inside this, we will write another for loop. So that will be for column number. So column j also starts from 0. Say we take, there are n columns, m rows and n columns. So j plus plus. So this for loop will be for j, which is for the column. So in this case, we need to take first number input. How do we represent 11? It is A of 0, 0. So when we observe this 0 is value of I is 0, j also initially is 0. So we need to take A of I and within square bracket j. So the scanf will now change. This was one-dimensional array. So in case of two-dimension, we will write A of I, j. Okay. So I hope this is clear. So this is how we represent the input for two-dimension array. Right? So we are taking input for a two-dimensional array. So now let us see with values, how does this work? So when we enter the first number, the first value of I is 0, j is also 0. So if we enter 11, for example, it gets stored into A of 0, 0. So A of 0, 0 is 0th row, 0th column. Now I is still 0, but j gets incremented to 1. So now we have A of I is 0, j is 1. What is 0, 1? That is 12 will get stored into A of 0, 1. That is 12 will get stored next to 11. Right? So now similarly j gets incremented to 2, I is still 0. So if we enter 13, I is 0, and j will become 2. 13 gets stored next to 12. Okay, next number we enter as 14. I is 0, but j is incremented to 3, right? So 0, 3, next number gets stored here. Okay, so now next, when we check, there are only 4 columns, right? So when j becomes 4, 4 less than 4. So what is m here? M is the number of rows. How many rows we have? M equal to, there are 3 rows. And how many columns? There are 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So n value is 4. M is the number of rows, 3 rows, and n is the number of columns. There are 4 columns. So now when j gets incremented to 4, 4 less than 4 condition is false. It comes out of the inner for loop. Now I becomes 1, right? And j starts from 0. So we have a of 1, 0. That is the next number. If we enter 21, it will get stored into a of 1, 0. That is this position. Okay, next I is still 1 itself because j has not completed. J becomes 1 now. J was 0, it became 1. I is also 1, j is also 1. Next number gets stored into a of 1, 1. That is a of 1, 1 is the next number. We have stored 22, right? So here we store 22. Next number, if we enter 23, so I is still 1, j gets incremented to 2. 2 is still less than 4 itself. So now we have 1, 2. So a of 1, 2, it gets stored as 23. Next, j gets incremented to 3. So a of 1, 3. Next number, 24, gets stored into a of 1, 3. Now, if we increment j again further, it becomes 4, right? 4 less than 4, condition is false. So inner loop completes. Now I is incremented again. I was 1, it becomes 2, right? So this j starts from 0. Now we have a of 2, 0. So if we enter 31, these are just example, we may enter any number, right? Next number, if we enter 31, it gets stored to a of 2, 0. Next j becomes 1. So next number gets stored to 2, 1. And then j becomes 2. Next 33 will be stored to a of 2, 2. And again j is incremented, it becomes 3. All these are still less than 4. So next number gets stored to 2, 3. Right? Now when j becomes 4, 4 less than 4 condition is false because n is 4. Okay, it completes this loop. Now I gets incremented. I was 2, it becomes 3. And what is 3? M is also 3, right? 3 less than 3 condition is false. So outer for loop also completes. Control exits from this outer loop also. So we have taken input for this 2D array. Now tell me how many elements are there in this array, 2D array? Anyone?
12, ma'am.
12. How do we get that?
Number of rows into column.
Very good. So number of rows into columns will tell us the number of elements, right? So if we have 3 is the number of rows and 4 is the number of columns, multiply them, we will get the number of elements. So this will help us later. So how to know? So we need to enter 12 numbers so that it gets stored in the form of a matrix or a 2D array, right? So here we need to enter 12 numbers and it gets stored like this. So we are going to take input first for number of rows and number of columns. And how many elements is given by m into n. M is the number of rows and n is the number of columns. Similarly, how to print them? So we have this for loop. So instead of scanf, we can give printf, right? So we want to print them, right? Print f, and we want to print the values, right? Percentage d because it is a integer, and then say slash t. Each value is separated by a tab space, and then we will give a of I j. Yeah, because of space it has moved here. So let me move this. Okay, so instead of scanf, we will give this printf, okay, in this place, and after every row we need to give a slash n. So note, this is the print instead of scanf, we will give here. And because it has to print in a new line after one row, after one implementation of for loop, we have seen that in patterns, right? So after one implementation of J for loop, we will give a /n so that next set of elements will be printed in a new line. So we are printing the elements of the array similarly, A of ij. So here, like every concept, even 2D array, the first program is simple input and output. We are taking input for the 2D array elements and then printing them. So previously we have seen character input, take one input and print it. Even one dimensional array, take an input and print the array. Similarly, 2D array also, we will take input for the 2D array elements and print them in the same format like this, like a matrix format, we will print them. So let us see. So that is in the lab sheet. Okay. So here we have a real-time example. I hope this screen is visible now. Is this screen visible, lab sheet?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So for the two-dimensional array, problem 7 is the first program, right? For 2D array. Let us see, we have a real-time scenario like this. So problem statement says, Mr. Umar is a research scholar and he is currently working on images. So images we know will be in the form of a matrix, or else you will know. So images usually will be in the form of matrix. We have different pixels, right? It is stored in the form of matrix. It has numbers to identify patterns in an image. So this is a real-time example where matrix can be used or where 2D array can be used. Let us see further. The problem says he knows that any image will be saved in the format of rows and columns at the lower level. That means it is stored in the form of a matrix. Okay. If you have a particular image in form of 0, 1 or any number, we can use to store that image in the form of a matrix. Okay. So know that for now, this image is stored using numbers in the form of a matrix. We'll not go into full details about why or how. Okay. That is not in the scope of this topic. We just take that in the form of a matrix. Okay. So now he wants a particular pattern with m rows and n columns to identify the given image. So in the matrix, there are m rows and n columns. Before identifying, he wants to read the image pattern, and then you have to help him to read and display it. That means we will be using a 2D array for this matrix with m rows and n columns. We will read this two-dimensional array and display it. Okay, so whatever numbers we want to give, we can give in that as values. So here we are going to first declare one array. So how do we declare a one-dimensional array? Using the size. If we give a of 10, it means there are 10 numbers stored linearly in just one row. There are 10 numbers. So that is size 10, a of size 10. So now while declaring a two-dimension array, we need to declare with the number of rows and columns. Note that we are first declaring a 2D array. The first requirement says declare 2D array. So if we take the value like a, so how to declare this? So if we take this, let me display that screen again. Yeah. So in this case, we have this array A. If we want to declare this, right? So say we want to declare an integer, right? All of them are integers. We can declare any, whatever we want. So here consider int. We need to give the name of the array, and within the first square bracket, specify number of rows. So maximum we have 3 rows here. We have to declare this array with 3. That means there are 3 rows. And then how many columns? There are 4 columns. So this is how we are declaring a two-dimensional array. Okay, so this means we have declared a two-dimensional array. A is the name of the 2D array and it is of type integer. All the elements in this array are of type integer. So first number indicates there are 3 rows, and then second number indicates there are 4 columns. So this will reserve some memory like this. Okay, for 12 integers, it will reserve memory. So later we will take input and store values. I hope this declaration is clear. So if it was simple 1D array, we would have written like, say like this, right? Int a of 10. So this was just a declaration of 1D array. So A is an array of size 10 and it is integers. It has 10 numbers. So similarly, if we declare here, so if you are confused, let me take this, say B. B is a 1D array and A is a 2D array here. Okay. So this is how we declare two-dimension array. We need to mention both the dimensions, number of rows and number of columns. Okay. So going back to the lab sheet. So here, let me see this lab sheet, right? So here first we will declare a two-dimension array. So let us take integer. We can take float or anything as well. Okay, so integer, name of the array and number of rows and columns. So that is maximum what we can declare. Next, we need to know the number of rows and columns, right? So we need to take input for that. So number of rows is m and number of columns is n. So take input for m and n. Next, read the pattern. That is nothing but the 2D array. The matrix we will read, take input using scanf. Next, display the pattern. Sorry. So we will display this pattern. Okay. So now display the pattern or the two-dimension array. So whatever array we have taken as input, we will display that. Okay. So here we will display the two-dimension array. Let us see how the program works now. So here we have the problem statement which says Mr. Umar is going to store a matrix and then he wants to display it. So there is a pattern with m rows and n columns of the image. He wants to take input and print it. So that means we are declaring a two-dimension array, take input for that two-dimension array and print it. So how do we do this? First, we need to declare. So let us start with this header file and main. So here we are declaring some variables. So I and j will be for index of the for loop. M is the number of rows. N is the number of column. And the name of the array we have taken as pattern. Any name. So for this application, appropriately we can take. So here it is pattern. So we will declare the maximum. Okay, do not declare 100 or 1000. So that means too much of memory will get reserved. So a reasonable number. So it can be maximum of 20 rows and 20 columns. So we may give an input less than or equal to 20 for m and n. So we are declaring a larger number, right? But not very large like 50 or 100. So then otherwise a large amount of memory gets reserved. So we will declare as 20 rows and 20 columns, for example. So we may give value of m and n up to 20. So we may give less than that or same as 20, right? So next we will take input for the number of rows and columns. So let us say we want to take input similarly like we took that example. Okay. So if we want to take input for m and row n, I will take a notepad here. Okay. So that it becomes easier. 2D input.c. So I just have displayed the same program. As you can see, we have the first part declaration. Next, we will take input, right? So here we have just declared all the variables. Now take input for the number of rows and columns, that is m and n. So scanf, when we take m and n, in the example, we have seen number of rows. Say we take the same example to understand better it is, right? So number of rows we give as 3. And number of columns let us give as 4. Like we will consider the same example so that we will understand each step. Now enter the image values of pattern means the values of the matrix. So here for I equal to 0, I less than m. M is the number of rows. And then we have a for loop for j. J also starts from 0. J less than n means j is the number of columns, right? So we can see that the number of columns up to 4 and then number of rows up to 3. So 0, 1, 2 will be the row numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3 will be column numbers. So like we just discussed, we are taking input for the 2D array, right? So this will be taking input for pattern of ij. We have just taken a name as A of ij, right? So here we are taking the name as pattern instead of A, right? Pattern is the name of the 2D array. So I and j are the index. First I is the index for row, j is the index for column. So number, that is row number, will be 0, and then column number also is 0 initially. So we will enter 12 numbers, right? So we may enter in the same format. Yes, any doubts? Harshita, you have raised hand. If you have any doubts, please ask. Okay, nothing. So here we will see an example. Now note that the input can be given. Okay, fine. No doubts. Let us continue. Input can be given in a single line. You may not worry that you have to give input in the form of a matrix or anything. So if we say these numbers, right? So I will just display back that screen. So here we had taken this number, right? So we may give all of these 12 numbers in single line, right? So we may give 11, 12, 13, 14 and so on. If we give it in a single line also, no problem, right? So here we are displaying this, say here we give input. So like 11, 12, 13, 14, 21, 22, 23, 24, and then we have 31, 32, 33, 34. We can give the input all in a single line, right? But it will get stored in that particular row and column. So we need not worry. So we just need to know how many inputs we have to give. So based on our row and column, we know that row number of rows is 3, number of columns is 4. So number of values will be m into n, 3 into 4. We need to enter 12 values. So once we enter like this, the numbers will get stored in place. Okay, so how does it get stored? Now when we see this, so first number will be 11. So first we will store 11, right? And then it is stored in 0, 0. Next, j becomes 1. So I is still 0. So 12 will be stored when j becomes 1. So 12 will be stored in a of 1, 0, 1, right? So here, first initially 11 is there. So that is nothing but 0 and column number is 0, right? So 0, 0 is for 11, a of 0, 0. Next, 12 will be I is still 0, right? So 12 means I is still 0, but j becomes 1. So 0, 1 is for 12. Similarly, I is 0, but j becomes 2, right? So 0, row number 2, 0, column number 2. So that is 13. So this is how we have seen the example, right? 0, 3. So 0 and then next number. So 0, 2 is nothing but 13. Next j becomes 3. Next number gets stored into the next place after 13. I is still 0. J becomes 3. So that becomes 14, right? So here we have the example. So next j becomes 3. So I is still 0. J is 3. So 0, 3 will be 14. When j becomes 4, 4 less than 4, n is 4. So 4 less than 4 condition is false. I again gets incremented. Now I was 0, it becomes 1, right? I becomes 1. J starts from 0. So 1, 0 is 21. Let us see. 1, 0 should be 21, right? So when we see the example, 1, 0, a of 1, 0 is 21, right? So this is the example and it continues similarly for all the values. This continues, right? So here we have taken, next will be 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. Then j completes. Then we have 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, right? So all the numbers get stored in place. This is how we take input. So this step is to take input for the 2D array. The next part we have is here, right? So when we see this, there is one extra F, right? So we are going to print this pattern. How do we print this 2D array? So here we need to take care while printing in the form of a matrix. So these are the code or the for loop used to print. So first we will give one heading. So the pattern read by Mr. Umar is /n. So this heading is displayed. Next, we start the loop with I equal to 0. Okay. Next, j is also 0. 0 less than 3. and 0 less than 4 here, true. Now we are going to print the pattern values. So pattern of I is 0, j is 0. 0, 0 is nothing but 11. So we print 11 first, right? So 11 gets printed. Next we have a tab space. So there is a tab, and then this still continues till j value completes, right? J becomes 1 now. So I is 0, j is 1. Pattern of 0, 1. Pattern of 0, 1 is nothing but 12. So it prints 12 and then a tab space. Now j becomes 2. Pattern of 0, 2 will get printed. That is 13. Next j becomes 3. Pattern of 0, 3 is 14. So it prints till here. Now when j becomes 4, 4 less than 4 condition is false, right? So now it comes out of this j loop. The control comes out of this inner loop. There is a /n. Now after printing this, the cursor will come to the new line, right? So now when we say this, cursor has come to the new line. Now what happens? Cursor has come to new line. We have printed. Now I gets incremented. 0 plus 1, I becomes 1. J again starts from 0. So we need to print pattern of 1 0. 1 0 is nothing but 21. So it prints 21. With next we have a tab space. So one tab space is given. Next j becomes 1. So 1 1 is nothing but 22. Then tab space, it prints 23. Next value 1 2. Then 1 3, it prints 24. Okay. Now when j becomes 4, then 4 less than 4, n is also 4, condition is false. We have a /n. So after printing 24, the cursor comes to the new line. Now again I gets incremented. It becomes 2, right? 2 and 0. So 2 0. Array of 2 0 is nothing but 31. Then a tab space, right? Then it prints next number. 2 1 is 32. Array of 2 2 will be printed. That is 33. Next it will print array of 2 3, which is 34. All this we have seen. Array of 2 3 34, right? So that is what we have seen here. Array of 2 3 34. Till then it prints, right? This is the matrix we have given. So now if you observe, the same thing is there on the screen, right? So here we have printed the matrix, right? So this program, first declare all the required variables. Then we take input for number of rows and columns. So in this example, we have taken 3 rows and 4 columns. M is 3, N is 4. Next step, we are taking input for the pattern. That is a 2D array. We may give all numbers in the same line, or we may give in the form of a matrix anyway. So we need to give 3 into 4, 12 numbers as input. So once we give this, next part after taking input is to print it. So we are printing the pattern in the form of a matrix. So this is how it gets printed. I hope this is clear. Okay. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right. So now, so that is what we have. Yeah. If you have given int main, you give return 0. Right. If not, you can give void main also. So that is one of the doubts here. Okay. So if you give int main, you can give return 0. Right. That is because we want to return some integer. So if we have given void main, no need of return 0. So here int main is there. We can give return 0 at the end. Right. Okay. Yeah. So if not, you can give as void main also, no problem. So that is the problem we have here. So in this case, I've just added too many things. So compilation, I think you can compile it. So that is how it works. Okay. So this is how it gets printed. So execute this program. Okay. So first part, we are declaring the required variable. Okay. Then take input for number of rows and columns. Next part, take input for the 2D array. Next part, print the 2D array. So this program is basically input of 2D array and output of the 2D array. Okay, so we have just discussed the problem 7. Okay, please enter your name and roll number, everyone. All of you enter your name and roll number through your chat box. Okay. Yeah. So now, according to the timetable, our next class is only on Saturday, right? So then we cannot leave all the concept as it is. I will be recording few videos. So next program is like matrix. Using matrix, we are going to add addition of matrix is the next program, and then we have the next one is multiplication of matrix. Please go through your maths concept, how to add two matrices, how to multiply two matrices, so that will help you to understand these programs. Problem 8 is addition of two matrix, and then problem 9 is multiplication of two matrix. So using the real-time scenario, continuing with this Mr. Uma's research, we will see how to add two matrix and how to multiply two matrix. All these are part of 2D array. So problem 9 is matrix multiplication. So we will see this. I will be recording a video and I have shared a link also. So Satyamanand sir's channel, wherein different faculties have recorded videos for explanation. Please watch them, and I will be sharing the link for these videos also. Okay. So then in Saturday's class, according to timetable, next class is only on Saturday, right? So then until then you watch these videos, and after this problem 10 starts from string. Okay. So we will discuss about strings also, right? So please execute the programs. Lab sheet 2 has the question along with the solution for each, right? So please execute them at least till problem 7, right? Till problem 7 you execute. Next class on Saturday we will discuss in detail, right? Until then you execute. Anytime you have a doubt, you can message it to me, right? So message your doubts. So okay, printf /n, we have one doubt here. Will print space? No, /n will not print a space. It is only for a new line, right? So here we have seen a /n is to print this new line, right? Once we have one execution of j, that means we have printed only one row. Next row we want to print in a new line. So that is why we give this /n. So one execution of j loop means we get only one row values. After that, we want the next row in a new line, and that is why we give /n. The space between these values are given by this /t. We print one number and then /t. That means we will print 11 and then /t. Again, we will print 12 /t. Okay. Now, after we print 13 /t, 14 /t, next we have a /n. So that means j loop completed. Now, after one row, we need a new line. So that is why we give this /n. I hope your doubt is clear. Harshraj. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Any other doubts? Is this concept clear? Two-dimension array? Dear students, is this concept clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, thank you.